We're going to be taking an inside look at the Blood Elf shot and pretty much breaking it down and give you guys an inside look. One of the things that was really cool for us in this particular piece is we were able to show the Blood Elf at the beginning, where she looks pretty much like any character on the good side of Warcraft, pretty much on the Alliance, where she feels calm, mundane, and then as the shot progresses and the Mana Worm comes in, you get to see a darker side of her, which is pretty much the nature of the Blood Elf race. And we actually got to do that with the Draenei. At the opening of the Draenei shot, he's in dark and he's shrouded and it's heavy lighting, and then he comes and steps into the light, which reveals him to be an actual good character. The Draenei Paladin is actually the same race as Archimonde, and if you guys are familiar with Archimonde, he was the bad character in Warcraft 3. So it's really cool for us to sort of see these polar opposites in these characters and really explore that in this particular cinematic. Okay, so this is the Blood Elf shot, WA40, and we're pretty much gonna just break it down. So the first part is drawn, which is your traditional 2D storyboard, and it's pretty much done like everyone else. It gives us an idea of where we're going and the pacing. And from there we go out and film live action reference for the animators, so they can get a basic understanding of motion and timing and pacing. And from there we go into what's called a 3D animatic, which is sort of a blend between 3D and 2D in terms of storytelling, and it basically gives us a physical world representation of exactly what we're going to be seeing in the shot. And once we have that, it's pretty much laid out, and then we go straight into first pass animation. And first pass is usually just a quick stab at exactly what we're seeing in the live action reference. And then from there we just keep polishing it until the shot is final.
Hello, I'm Jeff Chamberlain. I was the director of this cinematic, and I'd like to introduce you to WA25. It's the Troll and Raptor shot. The Scar is an area where the undead marched from Deathholm to Silvermoon City, and they left a path of destruction on the way. And we decided to route our shot there. In many of our shots, we decided to place them in an area that's actually in the game. And we thought that this area was worthy of putting one of our shots in. But we decided to do a Troll and Raptor because, one, it's a very cool combination of mount and rider. Two, because in our department there are quite a few dinosaur enthusiasts, one in particular who decided to take it upon himself to really take this shot to the level that it's at. In this project, we did a lot more 2.5D projection backgrounds. And what that means is a combination of 3D geometry and 2D painted, hand-painted imagery. We switched over from 3D to 2.5D because we had a short production schedule and a lot of backgrounds to generate. We also figured we'd have a lot more control over the imagery by just hand-painting it. The problem with that is, in order to get the background to really, read true, you have to project it onto low poly 2D geometry. And then the problem with that is that the 2D geometry might not represent fully the scale and detail of the background. So there's a lot of trickery involved and a lot of fool of the eye techniques, but we really dialed it in and hope that we achieved the goal that we wanted. I believe it's there.
I'm Matt Samia. I head up the cinematics group, and I also participated a bit in directing this show. I'd like to talk a bit about the sheeping shot. So in the game, obviously, one of the cooler things you can do is turn your opponent into a sheep. And one aspect of it that's really, it really makes it cool in the game is it's somewhat humorous, right? I mean, it's just funny. It's a cool thing to do because it makes you giggle, right? So we thought, why not get a bit of that into our intro? What makes this game really special and interesting is there is an underlying humor in a lot of ways, and so we wanted to start to get that, start to bring that aspect into what we're doing here, and see if it doesn't resonate with the players a bit. So it turns out that modeling a sheep, creating a sheep in CG is not actually as straightforward as you might think. It had to meet several criterion. One is it has to look like a sheep. The other is it has to strike a balance between reality and fantasy, and it has to just be kind of funny. So we went through several hairstyles trying to find what is the optimal sheep haircut going to be for this shot, and well, settled on the one that seemed to work the best.
Greetings, I am Wolfgang Amadeus Wiffleball. I am the director of Ultramarionation here at Blizzard Entertainment. When Blizzard needed a reference for a tauren turning into a sheep, they had to turn to me, the foremost authority on marionation in the world. Ultramarionation, it is puppetry for the 21st century. We use only the finest puppets, the finest materials. The strings, they are now nano microfibers. They are invisible to the human eye. Some people think, is this a real tauren? No, it is one of my finest marionettes.
One of the things that we wanted to do in this intro was to tie it into the last intro. We wanted to bring back some of the characters that we had seen previously. We wanted to get the mage back in there. We wanted to get the undead back in there. That's a couple of examples. But we wanted them to have been through some adventures in this world. We wanted them to have lived a bit. We wanted them to have some epic gear. So this is actually the same mage that we saw before. Difference is now he's got way cooler junk. He's actually got a haircut too, for some reason, that we can't quite explain. But other than that, he's the same guy.